What's going on, everybody? Thanks for watching CTM Sports Live. Couple of news hits today, and I won't be on here probably for a while. I want to talk about. We talked about it a little bit. We touched on it yesterday, or was it Thursday? Can't remember, but we talked about players who stopped playing because the college reneged on the NFL deal. We're gonna talk about that today. But before we get into that, let's talk about Colorado, man. Shout out to Colorado. Won their game 48-21 against UCF. Played a way better game this game. Defense was getting to the ball. Good touchdown, as you can see. Travis Hunter, another touchdown. Heisman Trophy candidate. I don't know why they wouldn't let him win the Heisman. It would be a travesty if they keep winning. They're 4-1. Everybody was hating on them at first. They're 4-1. Shout out to Colorado, 4-1 right now. But got an interception as well, really nice interception. I want to play it, but I know they're gonna ding me for it, like they have been. If I play any of their videos, they'll ding you for it on YouTube. But 418 total yards, 290 passing yards, 128 rushing yards. Like I said, if they had a bell cow running back, like, somebody 6'1", 220, that can pound between the tackles and get about 4 to 5 yards a carry, man, team would be dangerous with him at quarterback. But it's hard to find those kind of running backs, and a lot of schools are, getting them with the NIL. And that's one thing we're gonna talk about with the NIL and stuff. We finna get into that. We finna talk about that. But before, shout out to Colorado though, winning this game. Shout out to Coach Prime for coaching these guys, getting them right. Much love to Coach Prime in Colorado. This team Prime over here all day. I don't care what nobody say. This how we rolling. And man, 4-1. Here we go. So the next one is this is a big one. Julius Randle. Julius Randle has been traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Julius Randle and what's that guy other guy's name? Let me find it real quick. Dante DiVincenzo? DiVincenzo? I don't know how you say it, but Randle and Dante has been traded in a first round pick from the Knicks for Karl Anthony Towns for Cat. I think it was like right when we got offline on Friday night or something like that. So let me know in the comments. Who you think got the better part of this trade? Who you think? Do you think the Knicks got the better part, or do you think that the Timberwolves got the better part of the trade? Let me know what you think in the comments. What I think is, I think Minnesota, if Julius Randle can stay healthy, I think they may get the better part of this trade because Julius Randle is not ball dominant. A little bit more aggression in him than Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns is just too. I don't know. He has all the talent in the world. It's like having an arsenal, but you don't use it. He don't use all the weapons that he possesses. In my opinion, he don't. He could be one of the best post players in the NBA if he wanted to. In my opinion, I think he could. But for some reason, he don't. He wants to be a point forward. Because in my opinion, if he would have been a power forward or a center and really bang down in the post, they would have beat the Mavericks hand down. Probably were not even trying. But trying to shoot threes, trying to shoot all the jumpers, I think the Timberwolves saw that he's not going to change. So they said here that Minnesota saw it best to end the Towns and Gobert experiment to get a fresh face in the paint. So they keep Rudy Gobert, bring in Julius Randle. Randle don't have to play as much defense like he had to play with the Knicks because they got Gobert down there. Um, I would say it takes a lot of pressure off of their boy Anthony Edwards. He can really ball out, and I think him and Julius Randle probably is a better fit, perimeter kind of fit. And Cat in New York, I think he may play different for New York. We'll see. He may have wanted out of the Minnesota. We will see. I think that he may play better for the Knicks. That may be a better fit for him than playing in Minnesota. But we'll see. Because we all know that New York market is tough. So, shout out to both of those teams making that trade. We'll see how that goes when the NBA season starts. But the main topic of what I want to get into today, the main thing of what I want to get into today is, let me UNLV quarterback Matthew Sluka leaves football over NFL dispute. Before I start this, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an agent. I'm not none of that. I'm trying to possibly maybe go to law school. I'm working on it. But what I want to say is business. Keep that in mind as we talk about this. Business.
It's always business, never personal.
Before you start or go into any kind of business deal, I learned this in life. It's not, you can't take your emotion into it. You can't take feelings into it. You have to take logic and you have to understand getting stuff on paper. What's binding? What's not binding? What's solid? What's not solid? Thing about business is people may make you feel a certain way, and that's kind of a business tactic. It's a chess game. But you have to, before you go into business, you have to understand that you cannot go in it with personal feelings, or you're going to get burned probably 90% of the time, maybe even 95%. Let me know in the comments what you think. You have to have a different kind of mindset when you start taking on business and when you start dealing with money that's like, crazy astronomical, like, you know, six figures and above. Nobody's going to give you these things. You have to go get it with a business mindset in mind. And we finna talk about it. But I want you to hear about this first before we really get deep into it. I want you to kind of hear about it. Max Luka, the quarterback at UNLV, has tapped out. He put out a statement. Let's hear from Matt Luka. I have decided to utilize my redshirt year and will not be playing in any additional games this season. I committed to UNLV based on certain representations that were made to me, which were not upheld after I enrolled. Despite discussions, it became clear that these commitments would not be fulfilled in the future. I wish my teammates the best of luck this season and This dude be thinking he be funny. Dude, not funny. He's so corny, man. It's unreal. But we gonna get kind of. They gonna talk about this, the deal, how the deal was made. But listen, man, you have to think about when you're talking about business. You got to think about multiple things before you make the deal. You have to think about the school. What's the market like? Do they honor their business? Do they honor their word? If they don't honor their word, how do I get them to honor their word before I go into business with them? Like that's all logical stuff. It ain't got nothing to do with feelings. It's all logical stuff. It's all logical. But we finna get kind of deep into it. They finna go a little bit deeper here in a second. But let me know in the comments, man, what you think, man, when I say you have to, you can't take personal feelings into business. Some people do, but I'm saying from what I've seen in my lifetime, my 41 years of living, people will use your feelings against you. They will try to make you look bad when you start bringing up, personal things. So you have to be smart. The people who are really successful in business, it's like they're almost like cyborgs. It's nothing personal.
It's always business, never personal.
But if you've never saw a person operate like that, you never been exposed to that, you wouldn't. A lot of times you don't understand the level of mindset you gotta have to operate at a high business level and not have any personal emotion or bitter feelings about bad business because bad business happens all the time. So this is what we finna talk about this. I'm finna go deep into this. For those who come back and watch this, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Help us grow. We're finna get into it though. Shout out to everybody who been watching, but we're finna get right into it. So, UNLV quarterback Matthew Sluka leaves football over NFL dispute. And that's why the topic of this is, do kids need to learn business before or in high school in this NIL era, dealing with colleges and dealing with people who's telling you about money that you can get if you come here? Peel talked about this when he was on the last episode. He was saying that colleges are not paying these kids and these kids are sitting out. And I told him that, you can sit out, but everybody's situation, it's like a case by case difference. And when you cause waves, you can possibly hurt yourself going forward. Some people understand that and take that hit on the shins or take that hit in the gut. And some people, they'll do it, but they'll complain about it later. And I was telling them, like, you just have to really factor and weigh in everything that can happen with the decision that you make. Because a lot of times when you're young, you don't realize it's like chess. Once you make a move, you don't get that move back. It's always when you move, it's some things that come with that move. So you have to be smart about every move that you make and think about the process. That's why we make the podcast, The Thinking Game. Make sure to go watch that. Watch The Thinking Game. We do on every Thursday at 6. In life, you have to think. You have to slow down and you have to think. Don't just fall for the money. That's where they get you at because the emotion will give you 100,000 if you come. And that's the next one of my next little topics right here, right? Claims there was a verbal deal of 100K promised and was not fulfilled. One thing about business, one thing about it. That's why kids, I think they need to learn about business. Not just the book stuff, but in real life. Why?
It's always business. Never personal.
Am I right?
People would throw stuff at you like this. They call you, hey, you come play for us, we'll give you 100K this year. The next thing, or if he had representation, that should have been said was, put it on paper, send me over the contract, and let me look at it. Let my attorney look at it or my agent look at all the language and the contract and the concessions, all that. Put it on paper, send it, then we'll make it happen and I will enroll. One thing about business, when somebody's talking about that kind of money, they need to have it on paper, period. Or I'm not going there. No matter if they're the highest bidder, no matter what they say, in business, it needs to be on paper. It needs to be signed by them on paper. We're going to give Mike X amount of dollars for playing or however much a game, 100K, signed, athletic director, signed, Michael Gray, I agree, the agreement. Because when it's on paper, it's easier to hold their feet to the fire. I'm talking about business. I'm not talking about emotion. I'm talking about business. From a business standpoint, you have more grounds to hold them to the fire. And I'm not even a lawyer. I'm just telling you how business works. You have to have a solid foundation to step on before you go out and start making these claims. Because when he said verbally, that's why the college is not even responding. Have you heard the college respond? No. You know why? Because people sell dreams every day. They sell dreams every day. It's business.
It's always business. Never personal.
So I'm telling any kid whoever watch this, if somebody verbally tell you, we're gonna give you 100K to come out here and play, and they don't send you the paperwork before you come and roll, ask yourself this.
Blade, ready to die.
You gotta ask yourself that. Because if it's verbal in business, this is what a verbal deal is. No guarantees. That's what a verbal deal is. So you have to make them put it on paper, or it's not going to happen. Next bidder, the next person, whoever can put it on paper is the person that's going to get my services. That's how you meet business with business. Not with, oh, because he verbally made a deal, it felt so good that I felt like I needed to go there. No, it's not about how I feel. It's about what's on paper, what makes sense. And that's my next thing, right? Contract versus verbal in business. A contract is always binding. If we got the right concessions, the right clauses, everything. Like I say, I'm not a lawyer, but let me know in the comments what you think. I would always say go contract versus verbal. Verbal can change at any minute. They really not, their hands can't it's not as tied because it's a he say, she say game, he say, college say, whatever. It's a tough road to try to go down. And the only way that they can even talk about it is through social media and stuff, because otherwise than that you wouldn't have any leverage. But in business, verbal deals, usually the person, in my opinion, the person who makes the offer most of the time has the leverage in a verbal deal. Think about this. Whether in the regular world, the job, whether in dating, a dude verbally tell you, you could be the one, but is he really saying that? Or he can change that at any time. Verbally, he can change that. That's what makes a dream, selling a dream, a dream. It sounds so good, but it could change at any time. Anytime. Same way in business. Mike, we'll give you $100K if you come play for us. Put it on paper. Well, no, we can't really do it. We really need you to enroll now. We'll take care of that. Just go ahead, come. We'll give you $100K. Just come. No. Before I come, make the contract. Send it to my representation, and we'll let us look over it. But see, a lot of times you get you let them rush you into making a deal based off how you feel. Like, man, I never had this kind of money, but you really don't got the money yet until you sign the paperwork. And they said that the paperwork that they did come up with, it wasn't close to $100,000 that they formalized or whatever. He should have formalized it before he enrolled. Bottom line. People can say whatever they want to say. They can say, well, they made a verbal deal. I'm telling you, it's enough information out there now, and we've seen it too many times that verbal deals are and that's just my opinion of just being in life 41 years. Those verbal deals are crazy. And if you can't make the contract, I'm going to the next highest bidder. Most of the schools who really are killing it in the NIL are the schools that know how to take care of business. Just think about it, those big schools. So his case is different because he's not no top 10 quarterback in college. He probably not even going pro. So he's trying to maximize all that he can now while he's in college. And what he's going to do is probably red shirt, I think. Red shirt and transfer to another school and see if he can get another payday because they botched it at UNLV. Am I saying that the school probably, I'm saying they probably did do it, but what I'm telling you is from a business standpoint, you have to understand that as a businessman, people will try to get over on you if you allow it. But how do you not allow it is make sure they got the contract and not the verbal.
Am I right?
Because when you start getting into the feeling part of it, verbal deals sound so good. But when you have a business mind, like it sounds good, it sound good, but send the paperwork over. Let's talk the paperwork. Even with a job in the interview, they tell you, hey, we can offer you this much. Some jobs we don't. Some people don't even know this. They don't tell you this a lot, but some jobs you can negotiate your salary. They don't tell you. You have to know that as a business mind, you can negotiate your salary. And then there are some jobs you can't negotiate. They tell you this is what it is. This is what we're offering up front. There is no negotiation. But then you have to make that choice. Do I want to go into business with them or not? In the regular world, when you're thinking about after high school, when you're an adult, look at yourself as a business. When you go apply for a job or you work for a company, you have to realize that you are a business. I'm offering them my services. I am based on my value offering this company my services as a business. And when I go into this interview, if they like what I'm offering, they're going to pay me according to my value or what I think it is. If they offer something that I think is that don't match my value, I will negotiate. Hey, you offer me this X. I think I'm worth Y. Where do we go from there? Do we meet in the middle or do we meet me at Y? If not, you got a choice. You can either sign and work or either or. But that's business.
It's always business. Never personal.
So, my next one, kids have to learn business younger in order to maximize their time in college. They have to. You have to learn. You can't depend on another person. This is life. You can't fully depend on another person to handle your business. Do you have representation? Probably yes. But even then, you still have to have them break down what's going on. I'm just saying from my opinion, I wouldn't totally depend on somebody else to really handle the business. We need to run it by each other, make sure we're on the same page. As an adult male, when you graduate high school, you have to handle your business. Whether it's whether it's upping your value, making your value increase, whether it's getting to a point of stability, whether it's finding that job, anything. When you get out of high school, it's you now. There is no it's somebody else's fault. It's you have to learn it. And sometimes kids are not being taught this, so they're going into being an adult not understanding that you have to handle your business. You want to live on your own, you have to pay your bills. You control what bills you take on, whether you believe it or not. You want to get a house or an apartment, you got rent, you got utilities. You want to get a cell phone, you got a cell phone bill. You want to get a new car, you might have to finance that car. Now you got a car note. You sign those contracts and those agreements. Now you got to handle that business. Same way with dealing with colleges. You want to go to a college, they offer you an NIL deal, send the paperwork to me or to my representation. Let us look over it. Look over it with your representation. Let them explain it to you. Do you agree with this? Do you not agree with this? Or they can send it back, change this concession. Let's amend this, put this right here. You have to take care of your business. And that's what I would ask that kid from UNLV. Matthew, did you ask them to send you a contract before you enrolled? And if they didn't send you a contract, why did you enroll? Most people will say, well, I didn't have a choice. That was the only option I had, so I went ahead and done it, hoping they would do it in goodwill. But guess what?
It's always business. Never personal.
That's not always the case. So I'm not saying what he's doing is wrong. I'm not saying what he's doing is right. But what I'm saying is things happen, and you have to make a choice. Based on this situation, he's not a top 10, college quarterback. Be lucky if he even get drafted in the NFL. So he's trying to maximize on what he can make in college. But I hope kids learn from this. Don't accept verbal deals. Have them put it on paper. Have them formalize a contract. And send you the paperwork so you can sign it. Now you got a foundation to stand on. Like, but verbal agreements,
I'm not really sure if I can.
so the next one is having the fortitude to take on the college team and take the PR hit of possibly being a bad guy, right? This is one of the things that happens. They don't pay you. They go 3-0. They get in the shine. You keep going to talk to them. Hey, what's the deal we talked about? Hey, what's the deal we talked about? They give you the runaround. The coach say, you got to go talk to this person. The other person says, you got to go talk to this person. You keep going ring around the rosy. You go 3-0. You winning. They talking about you, but they haven't honored the deal that they verbally. That's the key word you got to think about, verbally. Business is all about key words, a verbal agreement. And then when they came back with an agreement, it was less than what they said that they was going to give them. So you can look at that two ways. You can look at it as they said one thing verbally and they reneged on it, or they sold me a dream to get me to come and roll there, and they can't afford to pay that much. Either way, it could be bogus what they did. Once again, dealing with people in business, it can happen. It's a lot of bad business deals out there, and a lot of them don't get talked about all the time because of people don't want to take the PR hit. They just leave and they go do some other stuff. But you got to admire his courage for doing it because it's not easy. It's like you going against a machine. And you just see what happens. He redshirted. Cool, he was able to do that because not everybody is able to do that. He was able to redshirt, transfer to another school, and he'll probably, a school may not give him 100K. He may get like 60 or 70. Who knows? We'll see. But he's going to take a PR hit. That's what I was telling Pill about. When you go against the establishment, you're going to take a PR hit. Whether you want to or not, it's going to happen. You have to be ready to take that across the shins or chest and take it. And like I say, what we're going to see, we're seeing it play out in real time, decisions and choices. He either going to win from this or he going to lose from this. One of the two is going to happen. One of the two. And it depends on what you consider a win. He may go to another college and he may get 80 or 60K. Who knows? Then maybe that's a win. He may not even get another opportunity again just because he went against the establishment. Another college, like if we did that to them, you may do that to us. Or they may try to use that as bargaining. That's business.
It's always business. Never personal.
They may have a contract for him, but like we can't give you 100K, but we can give you 60. And they could probably put in the contract, you can't go in the media and talk about this deal. That's how business works, man. Business is it's a totally logical place, man. It's no place for emotions in business.
It's always business.
Some people don't like that. I get it,
Never
but
personal.
it's not gonna change. An old dude told a young guy, I was watching a documentary. He said, think about politics in prison. These politics has been around before you was even born. Do you want to lose your life trying to change something that's not going to change? Is it worth your life? And it's probably not going to change. It's going to stay the same, even trying to risk your life trying to change something. Same way in business. There is certain sentiments, certain tactics that's in business that people use because they know that if you don't know, or they use the fact that you want money, that they will do these things like a verbal deal, but then change it once you get there. Once they get you there, they know they can use that because they have the leverage. And business is all about leverage. Can you leverage your talent and your skill as a business against to this college? Because they're going to leverage the money aspect to say we give you 100K, but it's a verbal agreement. All we need you to do is just come and roll, and we'll take care of the rest. No, take care of the rest before I enroll, and then I come and roll, and we good. But you got to know how to think. Don't get caught up in the emotion of how you feel. You got to be smart. Don't get caught up in the emotion. So, they was talking about on the video, they was saying that he was only on the team for 6 months. What about how the team gonna feel? Listen, this is what is about business. When you're handling your business, people try to throw those things at you. What about the team? What about the bond that you build and all this? No. What about you handling your business of paying what you said you was gonna do? Don't the people try to throw those things. Don't throw that at me now. Did you think about the bond when you didn't make your verbal deal? When you was making those deals, did you think about that? So don't people try to use all these different things to throw at you to try to cloud your decision making. But when you're a businessman, look, I'm not running for president. I don't need everybody's vote. I'm here for business. And the business was you supposed to give me 100K. And I have to take some other responsibility because I didn't get the contract before I enrolled. But your end of the coin, you were supposed to make it happen after I enrolled to make that deal happen for me to get 100K. So don't throw that to me saying that what about the team? What about the bond? No, what about the business?
It's always business.
And I think the players on the team understand that, like, it's a business. It's not the college, the way college used to be with team camaraderie and all that. That's just about over. Business is taking over. You can forget about that. That's almost over. You can forget about it. It's all business at this point. How much? Who is the highest bidder for my services? That's what's going on. Who is the highest bidder? I ain't trying to hear, we got a great team culture and all this. No. What's the number? What the numbers look like?
Back to life, back to reality.
What do the numbers look like? Sometimes you got to do that. And when they start talking about, well, we got a verbal deal.
You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
When are you going to send the paperwork over? Well, we got a verbal deal in place right now. When you going to send the contract over? Well, we got a verbal deal in place right now. When you going to send the contract over? That's when business is solid. If you don't sign the contract, look at it this way. If you don't sign the contract, the business is not solid. When money's involved, it has to be paperwork involved. Or it could go either way. Think about that. Paperwork needs to be involved. Period. That's business.
It's always business. Never personal.
So, last point before I get up out this thing is the NIL clearly defined or is it just gray area right now? In my opinion, it's kind of a little bit of both. You have the colleges that take care of it, they know how to handle it like it's a salary cap. And then you have some colleges like those smaller markets, they're trying to compete, but they almost do dirty business in order to get kids to come there that they normally wouldn't get, to try to lure them in with verbal deals which is crazy. But you, like I said, you got to understand that if they don't give you a contract with the paperwork stating that we're going to give Mike 100K to come to school X to play football, you know what I'm going to tell that school? So with that being said, don't fall for the okie doke, man. Be smart. Learn your business. If you can learn social media, you can learn how to do Facebook, learn how to do Instagram and Twitter. You can learn about business. You can. Sometimes we learn about stuff that we want to learn about instead of learning about the stuff that we need. But I'm telling the kids now, if you want to go to college, you want to deal with the NIL stuff, you need to learn about how business works. Not just the book stuff, but how people do business, how they try to run game on you, how they'll try to take advantage of you. It's all about paperwork. It's all about language. And if you don't know, ask or look it up. There's so much information out there now. That's why I was surprised when he said he made a verbal deal. No. You make a contract. In 2024, you should be making contracts. There should be no verbal deals, in my opinion. There should be contracts. He should have made a contract. I'm not saying what he did was right or wrong. I'm saying from a business standpoint, he should have had a contract in place before he enrolled in that school. Let me know what you think in the comments about UNLV and Matthew Sluka making verbal deals. I'm saying verbal deals in business, especially with that kind of money, it needs to be on paper. Because if it was on paper, guess what he could do? He could probably take legal action. But the school know that, and the people that's in the front office know that's why they didn't make a contract, in my opinion. They know how the business work, so they try to do stuff to kind of skate around the actual rule of business. They put you in a gray area in those murky waters. That's why they say swimming with the sharks. You got to know how the sharks play. You got to know how these apex hunters work. And the way to pin them down is contracts and paperwork. Signed by their front office, signed by you. We, the school X, is going to give Michael or Mike X amount of dollars to play at this college. Signed by the officials at UNLV, signed by Mike Flair. Bingo. Business is done. When it's verbal, it's open, it's not closed. Anything can change. Nothing's guaranteed. It's not. I can't stress it enough. Even with in the real world, with jobs, you go to an interview and they say, "Yeah, we'll give you a call." That's verbal, but sometimes they never call you. Had that happen to me a lot of times. Until they send you over the paperwork from HR or something for you to fill out, and you turn it in. Both of you guys sign it. The manager of the department or you sign it. It ain't official until that paperwork is done. It ain't. No matter how you feel, no matter what you think, until that paperwork is done, it's not official. It's not. If you notice, they didn't say they're going to take legal recourse. He just pretty much like he going to hold out. That was the only leverage he had, the only option. So he's not going to get the 100K. He's just going to transfer. That's probably what's going to happen, unless the school make it right. But they probably not going to make it right. They probably not going to give him 100. They probably can't even afford to because their school market's not that big, even though they're in Las Vegas. I don't know why a casino probably wouldn't sponsor them or nothing, but I don't know. Business is business. It's crazy.
It's always business. Never personal.
So when you've been in business, when you've been around the world, man, you kind of understand people will try you. They will try to take advantage of you. They do it all the time. It's business, man. So it's, for me, my mindset, I don't get caught up in the emotion of business. Have I been taken advantage of in business? You bet your butt I have. But I learn from every situation, and it only makes me stronger mentally, and it gives me the awareness to look for these things when they come my way. That's what it do. The more awareness you have, the more logical you have, steps you have to handle your business, the better you become in taking care of your business. Don't trust another person to handle your business. You look at all these superstars, you think about like Steve Harvey. He trusted an accountant to handle his business and pay his taxes, and the dude didn't even do it. He probably looked at him and said, "Yeah, I paid it." He probably said, "Yeah, I got you covered." But no, show me you got me covered. Let's look over the paperwork. Matter of fact, before you send out the payments, let's look everything over, and then you sign, I sign, send the money off, and we good. That's called square business. Let's handle business properly. Instead of just saying, you take care of the business, I go do the acting, I trust you, and sometimes you get burned doing that. Same thing here. He got burned. Just to be honest, he got burned. They sold him a dream. In my opinion, they sold him a dream. He enrolled, and when he enrolled, they had the leverage. He didn't because they didn't have a contract. He should have got a contract first, and he would have had the leverage. But they had the leverage. It's all about leverage. It's all about, getting the leverage on your side. But they both gonna lose though. They probably gonna lose their momentum for being 3-0, getting covered, media coverage. And he's gonna lose because he has to go to a whole nother school. He has to learn a whole nother system. And he has to hope that a school's big enough that he can go to that will pay him that much money. So it's definitely probably going to be a lose-lose. Just have to monitor the situation. But I just wanted to come and talk about don't depend on another person to handle your business. You got to handle your business. You do. Whether you're an athlete, whether you're an adult, even when you're in high school, you got to handle your business with your classes and keep up with your credits to graduate. You got to keep up with all that. But thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments. Turn that banner off real quick. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Let's build a community. We got the Thinking Game podcast. We got CTM Sports. Thanks for watching. Thanks for whoever watched this later. Hit the subscribe button. Help us grow. I think we're like 230 or something like that subscribers. We're trying to get to 1K so we can monetize the channel and we can invest back in the channel because we're in Little Rock, Arkansas, and we're trying to get to the point where we can get a studio and then we can have different guests come on, people we know, we roll with, because we're from Southwest Little Rock. A lot of people we know, we would love to have them come on. We're trying to get a studio, make it happen. But hit the subscribe button, help us grow as we invest back into the channel. And this is Mike, and I'm signing out.